This is the Roulette Master, and I just received an unbelievable email from a guy named Luke Stevenson. He calls his system the Run It Back Roulette System, and he says it will beat all other systems. That's exciting to hear, because today we're going to put his system in a head-to-head matchup with a fantastic system, and this is 5 double streets, and I can't wait to share with you the progression on this one today, and let's see which one makes the most money in 15 minutes. So we'll start with 5 double streets first, and here we go. So we're going to go ahead and place those 5 double streets. And that's a $50 bet. Let's go ahead and spin. And we're off and running. And here we go. That's a 36 red. And it's a loss. And usually you don't lose the first one, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to triple the bet. So we're going to go from 10 to 30. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin now. There's $30 on each of those double streets now. And here we go. That's a 5 red. And that's a nice $30 win. So when we win, we're going to go back to 20. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and you can see why we're still minus 20. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 20 black. And that's a win. So now we're up again, and we're going to start getting lots of wins with 5 double streets. We're going to go back to our original $50 bet. And you won't believe how many wins we get at base level with 30 numbers covered. There's 6 in each of those double streets, and there's 5 of them. So that's a nice win there. And now we're up $20. Let's rebet and spin. And this is a great way to play. And you don't have to play for this much. I'm going to show you how to change the bankroll to adjust to any amount that you want to bet. But we just lost again. So let's go from 10 to 30. So we'll go ahead and put 30 on each. And oops, not there. And spin, and 150 total bet right now. $30 on each of 5 double streets, and that's a 31 black. Fantastic. That's a $30 win. You can see why we have to go back to 20 now. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and spin again at $100 total bet. That's a 23 red. And that's a nice $30 win. So we're back up 30. Let's get a bunch of wins in a row. You won't believe how many wins we're going to get in a row once we get rolling on this one. I mean, we have really nice coverage here. And that's a 29 black. So that's a $10 win. We're currently up 40. Let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. Excuse me. I've been pretty sick this week. But I'm hanging in there, taking some Mucinex and all kinds of other stuff to get better. And we're up 50. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And maybe we'll get those wins in a row right here. Here we go. That's a 13 black. And that's a $10 win. We're up 60. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. I'm ready to get well because I usually go to the casino every night. And I haven't gone in about 3 days because I've been sick. So I'm ready to get well, and we're up 70. Let's rebet and spin, and here we go. All right, that's a 16 red, and that's a $10 win. We're up 80. Let's keep it going. Here we go. That's a 4 black, and that's another $10 win. We're up 90, and let's keep it going. Here we go. And a lot of people ask me, why do you go to the casino every day? And I just love it. I love the environment of the casino. I like the way that the air conditioning feels in the casino, the people, the free drinks, the free food. We're up 100. Let's rebet and spin. I love everything there is about casinos. Some people don't, but I sure love it. And if you play smart, it's a great place to be. And that's a $10 win. We're up 110. And we'll rebet and spin. And when I'm taking a break, I go to the sport book, even though I'm not betting on sports. I go ahead and go over there. They have nice, comfortable chairs. The casino's just a place I really enjoy being. And we're up 120. Let's rebet and spin. And I also like to see when people win big. And I don't know, I just feel good when I'm there. So I'm ready to get well and get back over there. And that's a 1. That's a loss. So we'll go from 10 to 30. So let's go ahead and do that. And spin. And now we're at 150 total bet. Here we go. Okay, that's a 34 red. I believe that's another loss, so we're gonna go ahead and triple that bet. So excuse me. And we're at 30, so we're gonna go to 90. Let's go ahead and do that. 90, 90, 90, and 90. One more, 5 of those, and 450 total bet. Now, this is a $2,000 bankroll system. I think we'll get the win here. We've had way too many losses, and I think it's going to turn in our favor. That's a nice $90 win. We're up 10. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to the previous bet. So we were at 30. We tripled to 90. I better explain that better. We're going to double 30. So we're going to be at 60 each. So we were at 30 before we went to 90. And then if you win at 90, you double the previous bet. So 30 to 60. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're at $300 total bet. And let's spin. And here we go. That's a 12 red. That's a $60 win. We're up 70 bucks. So now you can see we are at 60 each. We're going to go back to 30. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're at 150 total bet. Let's spin. And let's see, that is a 26 black. That should be a win. $30 win. We're up 100 bucks. So now we're going to go back to 20. We're working our way back down. Okay, now we're at $100 total bet. Excuse me. And here we go. That's an 11 black. That should be a win. Okay, so now we're back at base level. We're up $120. So we're going to go back to where we started at $50 total bet, $10 on each of 5 double streets. And there's the loss, 36 red. All right, so we're going to go ahead and triple that up from 10 to 30. Oops, added one too many there. Okay, these are all going to 30. I did it again. Oh, actually, you know what? I just realized something. I made a mistake there. We were at 20 and we lost. So we're not at 10. So we have to triple that. So we're going to be at 60. Got myself there, guys. And I put them on the wrong bets here. Just a sec. I'm on too many meds, guys, with being sick. Let's go ahead and put these out there at 60 each. And let's go ahead and get those at 60. We tripled it. We were at 20. We lost. Now we're at 300. Okay, here we go. That's a 3 red. Okay, and we lost again. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to triple that 60 to 180 each. So let's go ahead and do that. And remember, this is a $2,000 bankroll system. Okay, now we're at $900 total bet. We have $1,800 around there left in the bankroll, so let's get a win. I think we're due for one. And there's an 18 red. Okay, so before we were at 180, we were at 60. So we double 60. We're going to be at 120 now. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's way more losses than what you would normally get with this system. But I think we'll recover just fine. We're at minus 50. Let's go ahead and spin. So we're not really down that much, and I think we can get right back up again. That's a win with a 13 black. And that's a $120 win. So as you can see, we had 120 on each. So before we were at 120, we were at 60. So let's go back to 60 each. Whoops, I did one too many there. Let me fix that. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we're at $60 on each out of those 5 double streets, and let's spin. That's a 4 black. Okay, nice $60 win there. We're back up 130. So before we were at 60 there, let's see, we were at we were at 30. So let's go ahead and let's reduce all those to 30. Okay, now we're at 150 total bet, and let's get our profits back up there again. That's an 11 black. That's a nice win. Okay, so now we'll go back to 20. So we'll take one off of each again. And remember, this is where we lost, and we had to go to 60 each, I think. So let's go ahead and spin again. Let's see if we can get back to base level. Let's see, 3. We lost again. So we'll go back to 60 each because we're going to triple that bet. And you can see it dropped us to $60 temporarily. Okay, so here we go. So we're going from 20 to 60, tripling the bet. Okay, now we're back at $300 total bet. Remember, this is a $2,000 bankroll for $10 units. If you want to use dollar units, you could just use a $200 bankroll. So remember that. Anyone can play this, and we're up 120. Let's go ahead now, and we'll get those bets back down. So we're going to go from 60 back to 30. Okay, and let's spin. And here we go. That's a 23 red. That's a win. Okay, so we're up 150. Let's go ahead and reduce that back to 20 each. And then hopefully we can get some wins at base level like we usually get with this system. But the good thing is it is recovering, and we're using the bankroll to our advantage. That's a 25 red. Okay, that's a nice $20 win. We're up 170. Okay, let's take all those back to $10 each. Actually, let me take them all off there. Here we go. There we go, and we're back at base level. Let's get some wins, and here we go. That's a good win, 20 black. Okay, so we're up $180 now. I'm telling you, sometimes you can get on a long run of winning with 30 numbers, but you can have some losses. That's why we have this, this long progression here. That's a nice $10 win. We're up 190. And remember, you can play this with dollar units and a $200 bankroll, or $5 units and a $1,000 bankroll. That's a 14 red. Now, for the first time, we're getting some wins at base level, and we're up 200. So let's rebet and spin. We've been spending most of this session just doing recovery, but we're up, and that's a 30 red. Fantastic. So now we're up 210. Now we're starting to build up our profits, and let's see how this one closes out before we get to that new system of the day. That's a 14 red, and that's a $10 win. We're up 220. Let's rebet and spend. Yep, Luke Stevenson is really excited about this one coming up, guys, and you should be as well. It looks fantastic, and we're up $230. Let's rebet and spend. He calls this run it back, and we're going to run it back and make some profit here pretty soon. But that's a loss on 3 red. So we're going to triple up, and we're going to go from 10 to 30. So let's go ahead and do that. And then spin at 150 total bet. If we win this, we'll go back to 20. Okay, that's a 36 red. We lost. So we have to triple up again. So we were at 30. That means we're going to go to 90. So let's do that. So we tried to triple again. We had multiple losses there. And let's go ahead and spin. This is why you need a bankroll. And if that's too much for you betting $10 units, just use smaller units. Because we just lost again. That's brutal. Okay, so we're going to see how this does coming down the stretch. That's really rough there. We've lost 3 in a row, and we were at 90, so now we're going to be at 270 each. So let's see where that takes us. So let's put 270 each out there. And then let's see where we are bankroll-wise after that. Okay, so we barely have enough to place this bet. We have to get a win here, guys. This has done really well, but now it's definitely testing us, and that's an 18 red. Okay, that's a $270 win. Now, before we were at that bet size, before we were at 270, we were at 90, so we double that to 180. So we're going to reduce those back to 180 each and try to get back in profit here. Here we go. Oh, I need to add one more of those back on. There we go. And we're still at a pretty high bet here. We need to get a win, and we're coming right down the stretch. That's a 13 black. Okay, that's a $180 win. So let's see where we're at. We're at 180. So before we were at 180, we were let's see, we were at 60. So we doubled that to 120. Whoops, we need to add that back in. Okay, let's get these all back to 120. And I did it again. Okay, and let's fix this one. Oh, we have to because of it's because you have to get back to 120. So we're going to do that on all these. Okay. Whoops, we still had the eraser on that one, so we'll get that back up to 120. And this will be our last spin. Okay, and it's at $600 total bet with 120 on each of 5 double streets. That's a 29 black. Okay, there we go. And we ended up only $150 in profit, but after that debacle, I think we're pretty lucky to be in profit. Usually it's not that bad, but what Sonny always says, make sure you listen to him. He says cash out when you're up a lot, and that's what we should do. And we're going to play for the full 15 minutes when we're testing strategies. But when you're playing in the casino, once you get up a good amount, cash out before something bad happens, and that way you can declare victory over the casino. Okay, now it is time for the incredible new system of the day, and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's jump right in there and get started. See if it can make more than $150 in the next 15 minutes. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the Run It Back Roulette system by Luke Stevenson. Let's place those bets. And we're going to start with phase 1, which is $10 on second and third column, and then $1 on 000. If you play European roulette, just put $1 on 0. We're using it as a hedge bet, but if you play European, you'll get a win on that. So let's go ahead and spin. This is phase 1, and here we go. All right, that's a 17 black. Okay, so what we're looking for with this system, that's a $9 win there. We're just going to repeat that bet. We're looking at the 13-16 double street and the 19-22 double street. Our first trigger is going to be if we get 2 in one of those double streets. But until we do that, we're going to make money in phase 1. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's a $9 win there. And we have the 23 and the 17. They're not in the same double street. So we're up 18. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 22 black. Okay, so now we do have 2 in the same double street there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to see where we're at bet-wise. And you can see that last bet was 21. So we're going to go back to a $42 bet, but first we're going to take advantage of phase 2. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to place $60 on, let's see, since on the first 1 to 18, and then we're going to have $30 on third 12. Okay, that's a $90 total bet, and let's spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a $30 win. Okay, so that's phase 2. Now we go back to phase 1 where we left off. So we're going to be at, we need to change that to a dollar unit, back to 42. So let's go ahead and put that back at 42 and spin. And here we go. All right, let's see what we get here, and that's a 13 black. Excuse me, and we lost that one, so we're going to double up to 84 and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 6 black. Okay, that's a nice $36 win. We're up 21, but we're not in session profit, so we're just going to rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 6 black. That's a nice $36 win. Now we're up 57. We can go ahead and go back to where we started, not with dollar bets though. Back to 10 each. And spin, and let's see if we can get some wins here in phase 1. Then we'll get back to phase 2, and that's a 6 black. And that's a $9 win. So we're currently up 66. Let's rebet and spin, see how many wins we can get here. At the same time, we need to be watching for those 2 double streets, and then phase 2, and that's a 27 red. Okay, that's a $9 win, so we're up 75. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin, and here we go. That's a 31 black. Okay, we lost that one, so we're going to double that up from 21 to 42 and spin. And remember, both those double streets are in the second 12, so we're going to monitor the second 12 very closely. And we lost again, so let's double that up from 42 to 84. And let's use our bankroll to our advantage here. That's a 14 red. It's a nice $36 win, so we're up 48. We're not in session profit, which is the highest amount of profit since we started. I know a lot of times people ask that, and that's what it is. It's the highest level profit since we started is session profit, and that's another loss. So we're going to use our bankroll to our advantage again, and we're going to double up to 168 total bet here. And I bet we get a win on this one. Let's see. That's an 18 red. And we did. That's a $72 win. We're up 36. So let's just rebet and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 23 red. Okay, so we have the 18 and the 23, but they're not in the same double street there. So let's see where we're at. We're up 108. Let's go back to base level. Okay, so we're going to go back to $1 on 000. And remember, if you're playing European, just put $1 on 0, and that'll actually be a win, not a hedge bet. And that's a 31 black. And we lost that one, so let's double up. 21 to 42 and spin. And here we go. That's a 20 black. Okay, that's an $18 win. We're up 105. We'll just rebet and spin there. Try to get another win. Okay, that's an 8 black. There's another win. So we're up 123. Let's go back to base level. And let's establish some more session profit here and keep the profits rising. Here we go. Okay, that's a 25 red. And that's a $21 loss. We're going to double that up and spin. And here we go. And I need to share with you what happens if you hit that dozen in level 2 as well. We haven't done that yet, so make sure you stick around for that. We're up 120. Let's rebet and spin. Try to establish some new profit here. And here we go. That's an 18 red. There we go. That's new profit at 138. So let's go back to 10, 10, and 1. And let's spin. All right, here we go. That's a 3 red. Okay, that's a $9 win there. We're up 147. Let's see how many wins we can get at base level here before we have to increase again. And that should be a good one. 5 red. Another $9 win. We're up 156. Now we're cruising, and let's see how this does here. Okay, that's a 27 red. Okay, another win, $9, up 165. All right, let's just keep pushing it forward, establishing more profit each and every time and in each series. And that's a 21 red. Okay, that's a $9 win. We're up 174. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 15 black. Another $9 win. So now we're cruising. We're up 183. And here we go again. Okay, that's 32 red there. That should be good. All right, all three of those numbers there would have been good. We're up 192. The 17, the 20, or the 32 would all be there in the second column. And in the 5. All right, fantastic. Lots of second column hits. We're up 201, and let's rebet and spin. Or at least we're around a lot of second column numbers there for sure. And that's an 18 red. And that is another win. So we're up 210. All right, let's keep it rolling. And then once we have another loss, we'll get back to where we were at. And then we also need to be looking for phase 2, and remember that's 2 in the 1316 double street or 2 in the 1922 double street. Okay, we're up $219. Let's rebet and spin. And those are back to back. That's the trigger for phase 2. But he says a lot of times you can win a lot just in phase 1, which we're doing. And we're up 228. So let's just rebet and spin. And here we go. And again, this was sent in by Luke Stevenson. And that's a 29 black. Okay, that's a $9 win. We're up 237. Okay, we still don't have 2 in a row, but he said you don't really have to stress about hitting the trigger because you're making money in the process as well. And there's a loss. Let's double that up from 21 to 42 and spin. And here we go. That's a 15 black. Okay, that's an $18 win. We're up 234. And let's see, 15, 16. Okay, we have, so remember this, we're at $42 total bet, and we just got our trigger. So remember that, and it's time to put our bets back out. So we're going to be on 19 to 36 for 60, and then 30, and that's because we hit this, the 1316 double street with 2. And if we hit the other one, we'd be on 1 to 18 and third 12. But I need to share with you what happens if you hit the first 12 here. So let's spin, and we'll see right here. Remember to always look and see where you're at in phase 1 before you go to phase 2. Okay, that's a $30 win. So let's keep going here. We're up 264, and now we need to go back to phase 1 at, remember where we were at though. We were at 20, 20, and 2, and we're up 264. Let's go ahead and spin. And I think one more here. That's a 6 black. Will get us back in session profit, and we're up 282. So let's go ahead and go back to base level, which is $21. And again, we're up $282 now. Let's go ahead and spin, and we'll keep an eye out for the trigger in level 2. But again, Luke says you don't have to have it. It's just a bonus. And that's a $9 win. We're up $291. All right, let's rebet and spin, and here we go. Okay, all those numbers there in the second 12 that we were just around, and that's a, not second 12, second column, I mean, and we're up 300. Let's rebet and spin, and here we go. Okay, that's a 16 red, and that's a loss. Let's go ahead and double up and see where we're at. We're up 279. So we'll double up from 21 to 42 and spin. And here we go. That's a 23 red. That's a nice $18 win. We're up 297. Let's get one more of those and get ourselves over $300 profit. And that's our hedge bet, the 0. And again, if you're playing European roulette, that'll be a win because you'll be just on the 0. So we can take a $6 loss. We're still up 291. Let's just rebet and spin. But it keeps you from having big losses on the 000. Okay, that's a 28 black. And we lost, so we're going to double that up. And at the same time, we're still looking for 2 in one of those double streets. And here we go. Okay, that's an 8 black. Okay, that's $136 win. We're up 285. Let's get a second one here. Get ourselves back into new profit or session profit. And that's a 2 black. There's a nice win. Another $36 win. We're up 321. So we're going to go back to phase 1 here. Well, we still are in phase 1, but I mean back to base level. We're still looking for, 2 in a row of one of those double streets to trigger phase 2. And that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a $9 win. We're up 330. And we're just doing fantastic with this one so far. And here we go. That's a 17 black. And that's a $9 win. And we're up 339. Here we go. All right, let's see what we get on this one. Okay, that's a 17 black. Well, it's been in that area a lot. And we'll take it. So we're up 348. Okay. And we're still at base level. Let's go ahead and spin. And let's see how this one finishes up. Here we go. That's a 13 black. And we lost that one. So we have the 13 and the 17. So that's our trigger for phase 2. So let's go ahead and place our $60 bet. And remember, we're going to place the $60 bet over here. Over here. And then if it's on this side, on the 1922, you'll go to 1 to 18. We're going to have 60 here and 30 there. And let's go ahead and spin. And I still need to share with you what happens if you hit first 12. We haven't done that yet. And that's a 31 black. I'll just go ahead and let you know it breaks even. So we're up 357. And let's see here. Remember, we were at base level when we lost, so we're gonna go back to 10, 10. Well, actually, the way you play this is, if you're in session profit, you go back to base level. If you're not, you would go back to where you were in phase 1. But we are, so we can restart. So remember, that's a good key point there, and that's a 3 red. That's a $9 win. We're up 366. And really raking in the profit with this one. And here we go. That's a 24 black. Another $9 win. We're up 375. And we got about a minute left here. We'll see if we can get a little bit more. Okay, that's a 10 black. And we lost that one. So we're going to go ahead and double up. But as I say that, remember that if you're playing in the casino, we play for 15 minutes on each strategy to keep it consistent. And when you're playing in the casino and you get up a lot, cash out and declare victory. And there's one win there. We're up 372. And we have time for one more spin. This is it. And that's a 35 black. That should be a win. All right. And so in 15 minutes, the Run It Back roulette system from Luke Stevenson made $390 profit and is definitely the winner today. And thank you for sending that in. Thank you to everyone that's been sending the systems in. You guys are fantastic. That's what the channel is all about. And we're going to keep testing them each and every day. And if you're enjoying the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.